Hi, you are listening to Gila, Nehemia. This is a sacred erotic poetry podcast. I talk about sacred sexuality and ascension. And just a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am a sacred erotic self-love mentor, spiritual heart guide, writing empowerment coach, poet, and author. I'm really happy to be here with you today. And today is the 2nd of June. It's Wednesday. I have the Wednesday podcast. So subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Anchor, and many other podcast platforms. So we are in very, very amazing energies. We just had a lunar eclipse going into a solar eclipse, and the energies are quite high. So I'm going to be talking about the body today. And before we begin, I would like to say a prayer and set an intention. So we will first take 3 deep breaths together at your own pace. And we're calling in our light teams, our angels, our guides, God, Source, Universe, to assist us in this session, in this podcast episode, to assist us to connect to our body, to love our bodies, to understand our own body wisdom, and any messages at this time that you are desiring, and let it be shown through this episode. If you are needing some assistance or signs, we're allowing God, Source, Universe to assist us in showing us the next step, the next path, the next chapter of our lives. So blessing the space, opening the circle for us to connect from our heart space. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Aho, and so it is. Just breathing into that clean, clear energy. So today I wanted to talk about the body, and it's something I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time. And this podcast is entitled Body Wisdom. And, some questions that I'm going to ask you are you listening to your body? Do you love your body? Are you promoting healthy body image to your kids? These are important questions to me, because this is something that I feel like everyone struggles with. I don't think, they talk a lot about women struggling with body image, but I don't think it's just women. I believe it's everyone, men included, whatever gender that you associate with. I think it's something that has been ingrained, or has been, not the right word, conditioned in our society to look a certain way, or to behave in a certain way. And it's very conflicting and confusing. And I've just decided part of this podcast is to totally accept your body and love your body and listen to your body. A lot of stress, a lot of problems that people have with their body, and they go to the doctor, they are stress related, and it can come down to, what are you eating? How are you resting? I feel like rest is super important. And, what do you think about your body? Like I've recently been, and I said in an earlier podcast, I've recently been doing yoga and meditation in the morning when my kids aren't here, naked. And I really enjoy it. It's very freeing for me. And it allows me to, move however I want when I'm doing yoga, and nothing, none of my clothes are bothering me. And, and I really do believe like this freedom of loving your body, however it is, if you just have some, what do they call it? I forgot the right name for it. But, if you have some extra fat around your belly, to love that. And it's like, and that's beautiful. It's like our images of our body images over time. If you look at various paintings and things, it has changed, this ideal of being the skinny, model type person. I wanted to mention, when I was struggling a couple of years and I actually thought about modeling. Someone said to me, do you want to model? And I wanted to model a long time ago when I was young, and my mom said no. And so, I didn't do it. And then, so it came up again and I was like, oh, why not? And so this woman said, okay, I want to see you naked, so I took all my clothes off, and I showed her, and she was like, you have too much stomach fat. And I was kind of like, I already knew that. It wasn't a surprise. And for the shape of my body, it could be, but that's the way my body is. Even when I was younger, before my children, I never had a completely flat stomach, and I was always doing stomach exercises, and I was dancing, I was very physical and fit and strong. But that's my body, and I decided, like, that's who I am, and this is, as long as I'm keeping fit and I'm doing exercise, loving my body and desiring, if I want to do more with my body, that's completely cool. But not to berate myself, not to say that it doesn't look good, because I don't feel like that is healthy. For us, that kind of talk is healthy, and we can always have more, more fitness in our lives, more strength. I've known, obviously I coach women. I know a lot, I've been with different people, just talking to them and things like that. And one of the biggest industries is diet, because people want to change their bodies. But what I don't think we realize is it's not just about our bodies. It's like, what are we eating? What are we doing with our lives? How do we think about ourselves? Are we sleeping? When are we eating at night? All these things contribute to your feelings and the way you feel about your body and the way your body look. It's all connected. And so I would just say, go back into, like, how do I feel about myself? Am I doing the right things for myself? Do I feel good about the foods that I eat? What can I shift into? I think this is important. And also just this body wisdom, what is my body telling me to do? I've been recently why do I bring this up at this time? Why did I talk about the energies? Because the energies are so strong, and you might be feeling like you need a lot of rest, like I have been. You might want to just eat a lot of fruits, because I love bananas, I might eat 2 a day, and more fruits and, carrots and things like that, like raw vegetables. And, drinking a lot of water, finding that I've been very, very thirsty, like drinking and drinking and drinking more, so my body is telling me that I'm listening. So this is the question, are you listening? Sometimes we want to rest, but we have like 10,000 things to do, right? We have a long list of stuff to do. We have to go to work, we have to pick up our kids, all these things. We need to take the dog for a walk, and you get exhausted. And so, what I feel like, especially after the pandemic, take the time to rest. Even with my children, if they say they're really tired, I was like, okay, take the time to rest, because that is more important than your schoolwork, than your friends, than your parties, than your anything else. Your rest is super important. I feel like so much happens during sleep time. Your body is shifting and changing, and you are also connecting into the astral realms. You're getting a lot of downloads in your dreams. Like, it's so important to take naps and rest if you have that opportunity, and even if you're really, really busy and you don't have that opportunity to rest during the day, like make sure I interviewed a sleep specialist that's I will be uploading soon in my podcast. And she said that, to go to sleep 2 hours, to prepare yourself for sleep 2 hours before you actually go to sleep. So all your gadgets are off, and this is a challenge. I know I'm challenged with this. I was doing it for a while, and then I fell back into looking at my phone. Though I found that when I was actually doing it regularly, I was sleeping much better. And even today, even like, especially in the morning, I've become better at not looking at my phone, like just taking the time to wake up, you know, I have certain things that I have to do, but like connecting to the trees and, you know, writing a little bit and then just feeling into how I'm feeling at the moment. I usually get songs in my head. So I've been back into that practice, and that's been very helpful. And to look at the phone later on in the day, you know, and starting to schedule the time, because also the other thing that I wanted to share is our eyes. Our eyes, because of the screen, I've noticed for myself that it's hurting, you know, and this happened to me a long time ago when I started working in the computer business, because I used to be a teacher, and I didn't, you know, really use a computer a whole lot other than like for papers and things like that at that time. And then when I started to go into the computer industry, my eyes started to hurt and I needed glasses. And so I got glasses, and then, like, you know, kind of on and off with the glasses. And then, but recently now I've noticed that and it's not even, you know, it's not really the computer as much as the phone hurts my eyes. Because as soon as I stay away from it for a few hours, my eyes feel better. You know, they feel more nourished, and drinking a lot of water, sometimes I get dry, you know, so like just listening, like what's going on with my body, you know, okay, maybe I'm going to need glasses for the computer, you know, those blue light glasses or something like that. So, you know, just kind of understanding what is it that you need to make your life feel better, not cause you stress, because that eye strain can cause you stress, can make you want to sleep, you know, make you just close your eyes and not want to do any work, you know. I've been writing more on paper than on the computer, you know, just like shifting my habits, because I really love writing on paper. So listen to yourself. You know, there's actually something very connected when you write with your pen or your, you know, or pencil on paper, because it's this action, you know, it's your body is taking this action. And I connect the hands to the heart. So I feel like it just kind of flows through me. And then I, you know, do it like a second draft on the computer if I'm writing a poem or something like that, or even a blog post, or, you know, or anything that I'm doing. So, and I wanted to also share, I did this intimate love affirmation series last year, right before the Great Conjunction, or right around that time. It was like from mid-December to like early January, 21 days. So that's all about the body. So I would recommend, if this is you know, resonating with you, definitely look at my series. I'll put a link here to the intimate love affirmations, and I go through all parts of the body, from like the crown chakra to the top of your head, all the way to the soles of your feet, and then like a whole body thing at the end. So we do it for 21 days. And it's just to also affirm your body. Say, I love my body, you know, I love my stomach. You know, I go through every single part, and it's so important. And we easily forget, you know, but especially when I'm doing yoga, you know, I find myself very present, and I love just being with myself. You know, I'm loving that time. And I think it's also important for children. And I wanted to bring this in into this podcast today. I kept thinking about parenting, and I find that, like, you know, my children are preteen to teenagers already. And so, you know, there's a lot of hormones going on, and, you know, understanding their body, you know, and changes in their body because they're growing up. And, you know, so, you know, working with that and being really cool with all of that, you know, like allowing that to happen, having conversations that are just like, you know, because they're growing up, so they're becoming more adult-like, and talking to them like that. You know, so, and it's sometimes it feels weird, because like I wasn't brought up that way in my household, yet I know it's important for me and for my children to feel comfortable with their bodies, and to love their bodies for what it is, and to also understand all the social conditioning, you know, around, we're coming into summertime, right? And, you know, should you shave your legs? Should you not shave your legs? And, you know, all these things that, like, all these societal rules that, like, you may or may not agree with. And sometimes you feel like you have to, because, you know, this is a world that we live in, but do you really have to? You know, just these really interesting questions. And even this real, it seems like a minor thing about shaving your legs, it really isn't. And we used to talk about this like 20 years ago when I was in school, so it's just like things, in some ways, it's like kind of crazy that things haven't changed. People are still following those kinds of rules, and like, why? And we have talks about this, and I tell them that it's your decision, but it feels really uncomfortable, and I understand how they feel. It feels uncomfortable to make sometimes these decisions, and not your friends are not doing it, so you're alone. So that it comes back to this standing in your truth. Your body is going to support you in whatever you decide. And sometimes standing alone doesn't feel comfortable, and that's understandable. We all want to be a part of something. And someone who I follow on Instagram, the Peace Dealer, had said this really eloquently. We're like stepping into a new paradigm. All these energies are helping us to step into a new paradigm, into a new way of being, of living from our heart space, and maybe even people who we love, we're desiring for them to come with us. They don't know, we're still not sure, because it's challenging, right? We're living in a world that has a lot of challenges for us to live in that space. Yet I feel like that is still a commitment. When we listen to our body, what makes us feel good? What makes our heart sing? And literally now, like when I look at my body and I say, I love my body, and I love the way I have, after childbirth, folds in my stomach, I'll put it that way. And that's part of my body. That's part of my life. That's part of I am what I am. And really accepting my wholeness. I've totally been in that space, accepting my wholeness. I have a few gray hairs, and I accept that. I'm just like, yeah, that's me. I'm not going to dye it. I'm not going to do anything to it, because my hair is beautiful. I love my hair. My hair is very frizzy and curly. I used to straighten my hair because I thought that looked prettier, and it did look nice, but it took a toll on my hair. And I remember once someone telling me, when you do that, your hair is like a broom. It's like it's very coarse. And I felt like that. I felt like it lost its life. But that's personally how I feel. I have no, judgment for anybody else. But personally, I felt like I don't want chemicals. Well, why am I doing this to my hair? And I would get so concerned when I was coloring my hair. Like if I saw one gray hair, like run back to the hairdresser. And it could be like a week later, I'd be like, this is kind of crazy, And so I just stopped, and that was very liberating for me. It was liberating to do that. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, but how can I keep my hair healthy? And so actually I went to this, when I was in India, this Ayurvedic place, and they have something, that's natural substances, not henna, but natural oils and things to keep your hair healthy. And it can make your hair become more black if that was your hair or not, it just depends. And, I use that, and I'm cool with it, and I have a kind of a salt and pepper type of thing going on, more pepper than salt at the moment. I have a lot of black hair, but, it's like, I just want to be real with myself. I want to be honest with who I am. And I don't want to, say I'm something that I'm not. And I feel like that's part of really loving your body. It's like, this is who I am. This is maybe where I want to go. Maybe you want a really sculpted body and you want to go to a trainer. Fantastic. Go for it. Maybe you love, like I like to swim, and it's summer. So I'm going to go swimming, and, my body might change. I may get more muscle because I'm using it in different ways and I'm toning it. Fantastic. But I want to do what makes me feel good. And, then it's going to reflect how I feel about myself, and not to do it only because I want a sculpted body. If you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like sometimes we work so hard towards something because we want to look a certain way, but we're not working on the inside. So the inside, I'm talking about working from the inside out, and when you work from the inside out, everything works together. So if you're deciding that you want to feel better, and by eating healthier, it's going to make you feel better, being lighter, then do it. Eat whatever you want to eat that you might want to cut out of your diet. Like we've been vegan And sometimes I lapse, like I'll order something and have something in it, and so I'll eat it. Like if it has egg whites, my kids won't eat it, but I'll eat it. So I'm not like this hardcore, but I have not eaten any meat. I'm like red meat or anything like that, or chicken. I don't eat that. And I was even looking it up about protein. I was like, do we have enough protein? And they were like, there's so many sources of protein that are more than meat, like red meat. And that was kind of interesting to me. And I'm not talking about just like fish or something. I'm talking about like in cashews and I can't remember all the things that I read, but there was like in so many places, and I was like fascinated. Soy, obviously, it's like there was just so many plant-based things that you can find protein in. It was just super fascinating, even more than red meat. So it was like, what are people saying? Why was my mother, when I was a small child, very young, she took me to the doctor, and the doctor said she doesn't have enough iron. So this is about iron. And I think, and maybe iron also, like, they say to eat meat for iron. And you can find a lot of plant-based iron. So, she went to the doctor, and we were vegetarian. We didn't eat any meat. And I don't think my parents even ate eggs at that time. So the doctor said, you need to give her beef. And my mother was like beyond, upset. She was like, oh my God, I have to give my daughter beef. And so she did, and I threw up, and she was like super happy. I threw it up. She's like, oh, my daughter didn't like it. I can't give it to her again. And, so that it's just really fascinating that, like, the things the foods that people are saying you need to eat, that whole food pyramid thing, is that true? Like, what is the truth? And I'm saying, what I'm proposing or inviting you to think is what your body says is the truth. How your body is reacting to whatever you put into it is the truth. Listening to yourself, to your own intuition, to your heart, to your your legs, your mouth, your taste buds on your tongue, like that is the truth. There is no other truth. I could tell you something, someone else can say something else. What do you believe? What is your truth? So that's where it comes back into body wisdom. My whole life changed because I listened to my body's longings. And those longings helped me to transform my life into what I am today, into connecting my spirituality and my mental and emotional faculties into a whole new paradigm of consciousness, into the fifth dimensional consciousness. And that's something I'm dedicated to. That's something I'm committed to, no matter who stands next to me. And I know that's a hard path, and that's not the path for everyone. Though I'm asking you, are you committed to whatever path you're taking? Are you following your own truth? Are you allowing your body to assist you in that truth? Because it's not a mental game, nor is it just a heart game. It's a complete holistic body, heart, mind, soul game. This wholeness, this sovereignty also includes the body. It includes the truth of who you are. And that encompasses all of you. And the more that you step into that and own that and claim that in all ways, in the bedroom, outside of the bedroom, with your families, with your friends, in your workplace, claim who you are and what you represent. That's the statement. It's no longer I am the writer, or I am the poet. I am all those things, but I am also I am, right? I am. Nothing else goes behind that, because I just am, because I'm breathing, and that is all that is. So I wanted to read a couple poems to you today. One is from my book, Surreal Love, Kundalini Awakening Poetry. And it's called Body Gliding. Oiling my naked body in the candlelight, feeling my beautiful breasts, yoni, legs, stomach, honoring and bowing to you as I gently rub oil on your delicious bare skin, brushing up against your back, sensually drinking your breasts as I glide mine on top of yours, touching my ass upon yours, all in the sacred divine container in nature, gracefully lifting your legs in love, openly expressing my respect for you, for your body and your boundaries. You are my sister. Our bodies are divine. We are conduits to spread our sexuality, our love, our orgasmic power in the world. Elated for the experience, roaring in self-love of my sensual, delicious curves and strong muscles, running my hands over my soft hair, brown arms, down my back and my tight ass, over my amazing thighs, calves, and beautiful feet. We are, sacred, empowered, goddess love. Spreading the truth of sisterhood, loving the wisdom of our bodies, allowing it to lead us to divine heights unknown to our minds. And that poem came from a retreat that I went to in Spain, where we, put coconut oil. It was just women, a women's retreat. And it was about goddesses, the ultimate retreat for goddesses, something like that. And we put coconut oil on ourselves, and then we just like connected to each other's bodies, and it was just a very sensual experience. And we were just like exploring, there was, nothing really went on beyond just like that. It was in the sacred space of candles, and it was just beautiful. And I felt so comfortable with myself. And I feel like all of these kinds of experiences allow us to really embrace who we are. I felt comfortable being naked with other women, having them look at me and me look at them, and not have any judgment, just like really be in love with who I am. It really helped me to love myself more by not having that judgment, especially like, in romantic relationships, sometimes the first time, or even as you're in a couple relationship, your body's changing and you feel uncomfortable at times, and just to own that, just to be like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I am. And that confidence, and sometimes even insecurity is also very important to be honest with yourselves, and even with your partner. Like I'm feeling like XYZ right now because I have my period, or whatever it is that you feel, and allow that to be part of your intimate conversations, and in your conversation with yourself. Because even just to speak that to someone else, you first have to admit it to yourself and feel okay with it. And that we go into ups and downs. It's challenging to always be high, but to allow ourselves to go with the ebb and flows of life and allow our loved ones to be a part of that, I think brings us closer. I wanted to share something else. I talked about the eyes today, and this is this was a beautiful poem. I felt it was when I wrote it, and I was really very emotional. If you've been emotional this week, understand that that's part of this energy of like allowing patterns to stop. And that's part of what this podcast is about, like stopping some certain self-talk and patterns that you have in your life, eating patterns, whatever it is that's not serving you, and moving into a different direction consciously. So this one is called Tears. This is just a recent poem I wrote a couple of days ago, and I wanted to share it with you. Tear droplets rain from the corners of my eyes, heaving heavy sighs of enormous sadness. Memories of an old identity releasing, clinging to a false story, detaching slowly, reforming and reframing an authentic truth, teeter-tottering to a new divine balance, aligning my heart, mind, body, and soul, trusting that the new story will unfold. So that was very emotional when I wrote it. I was just spontaneously crying in meditations, and it was, and I didn't really know what was happening to me. I knew things were changing in my life, and I knew I had to change some things. And I realized since then that it's just this real, for me, a commitment to God, surrendering to God, surrendering whatever was, letting go more of control, surrendering my control, and just allowing and flowing with things, you know, like flowing with my body, like flowing with the tears that come through and allowing it to happen and not resisting it, moving into those moments. And I feel like my body helps me to move into those moments when I permit myself to flow with it. So that's another way that your body is showing your wisdom. And tears, I've been like learning about this. Tears have so much wisdom in them. There's so many memories. There's in every teardrop, there's, you know, they've studied tears, and it's just so fascinating. I don't have all the information, but you can look it up, and it's like tears are just so fascinating. There's strength in tears, you know. So if you ever feel like, oh, you know, woe is me, I'm crying, actually that's a huge release. That's a huge strength. Men, women, any gender that you are, tears are wonderful. You know, sometimes I remember, you know, someone I know was like, I can't even cry. You know, I just don't have the emotion to cry. So some people want to cry and they can. Some people, you know, can't stop. You know, everybody has their own thing. So there's a lot of information going on in the tears. So allow it to flow, allow it to come through you, you know, allow everything, and know wherever you want to go, you're going. And the more that we resist and we start having this negative self-talk and, you know, feelings of like, you know, we're not good or bad or not worthy or we don't deserve, you know, all those things are really underlying the deeper parts. Understand that all of that isn't true. It's an ideology that was placed inside your head. It was completely mind control, and that is just false. You are amazing. You're perfect. Your body is like super sexy and just out of this world. You are alive. You are breathing. You have something to share. Focus on that. Focus on your passion. Focus on what makes you tick, you know, and use that to your own advantage to bring you into a different space, because only you can do that. You know, you can listen and have coaches and all the things, and all of those things are definitely needed. Yet the last step, and also the first step, is yours. So taking it by the horns, you know, taking that bull by the horns and moving through whatever it is you feel is keeping you stuck or blocking your way, go into it. Let your body lead you. Sometimes without your mind, you know, my mind, sometimes I feel blocks me. I'm trying to think of solutions with my mind instead of saying what creates peace for me. Sometimes silence just creates peace for me. Sometimes just allowing myself to be creates peace for me, rather than thinking about how do I do X, Y, and Z. Okay, if this thing is presented to me in activity and I have to do it, fine. But if nothing has been presented to me yet and I'm okay with just being, then I just be. So, you know, this is the practice of continuing to really connect to your body, loving your body as a sacred temple. There's so much truth in your body, and listening to that truth. And to always know that the more you listen, the more wisdom that you are able to acknowledge and discern and share with others and yourself. Because your body has, you know, cells from your ancestors, lots of wisdom from your ancestors, and even just things that you picked up as part of your soul. You know, it's all connected. Everything is happening inside. And the more that we connect inside, the more we can take steps towards our highest truth and our highest journey in this life. So I'm just inviting you into this body wisdom, and in this super charged energy. Allow your body to lead you. Take the bath, you know, drink the water, take the rest, do your stuff maybe as you slow down. Instead of rushing around, slow down, because we always do better when we slow down. You know, so slowing down, savoring your cup of tea or your breakfast, and just being silent with yourself. the more moments of silence and meditation that we are in everything that we do, everything changes into more peace. So the message again is, as we connect more to our body, we're going to find more peace within ourselves. And as we love ourselves more and more, there's peace, because we are freaking beautiful beings, light beings on this planet. And the more that we share that wisdom, that wholeness, that sovereignty, the better we feel. And the more that we really are honest with ourselves, I feel like there's so much truth. And the truth sets you free. You feel liberated. You're no longer in the chains. And even if you decide to do something and you make that conscious decision, it's your conscious decision. You understand it's your choice. And you change the script. I chose to, because it's always your choice. So thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciated it. We'll just take three deep breaths as we close this circle, this episode, of those of you who are listening wherever you are. So if you'd like to take 3 deep breaths with me, please do. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to connect in this beautiful episode of Body Wisdom, helping us to allow ourselves to really connect to all of the energies that are happening right now and understanding them through our body. Thank you for all of you who are listening. I really, really appreciate it. And we're closing this space so that we feel complete with what was, whatever messages that came through, and we're allowing what is to come and to be present with our moments. Thank you. Aho, and so it is. And if you'd like to connect with me and find out more about my services, you can contact me at gilanehemia.com or send me feedback on this episode if you have any questions or comments to gila@gilanehemia.com, as well as grab my book, Surreal Love, Kundalini Awakening Poetry, on Amazon or any other online retailers for the online book or the paperback. I'm so excited for this upcoming solar eclipse. And stay tuned for next Wednesday for the next podcast episode, and subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Anchor, and many more. Thank you. Namaste, Shanti, Shalom.